Thank you for your interest in SQL training sessions at Progressive Business Technology Training. The clip you're about to watch is from a past training session with expert SQL speaker William Vaughn. If you have any questions about the training or content, please call us at 610-854-6259 or 1-800-964-6033 extension 259.
Here's the report server wizard. The report wizard is designed to, in fact, help you build a report interactively. You want to give it a data source. This is where the data for the reports are going to be derived from, so we can edit the string and point to a specific server name. Don't ever push this down. Don't ever click that. I have an alias set up that points to my current database, and we're going to pick out the AdventureWorks 2008 sample database. You push test connection if you like, but we already know that it's connected because we were able to populate the database name. Once you have a connection here, notice that it does not specify the credentials. You, in fact, can specify those credentials. And here's an important point. If you use Windows authentication in a production report, you are, in fact, opening up your report for what's called a Trojan attack. That is, another user's, the reports themselves are executed, the code that's being executed on the server for the SQL that returns the report data is being executed based on the credentials of the person running the report, viewing the report. So if a manager with high credentials, multi-granted, fully trusted credentials runs this report, they're going to be able to execute code that an ordinary person would not be able to. This gives you an opportunity to have evil code tacked on to the SQL used to create the report. So this means that in production we always use specific username and password values, but this is a development side, so just as a warning. We also want to share data source whenever possible. This means that when you build an application, you are in fact going to use the same data source for more than one report in the project. It also means that the data source that's already recorded in the database is going to be reused whenever possible, and it's going to be recorded based on this name. So you want to give it a name that makes something, that means something here. So we're going to call this AdventureWorks, if I can spell it right. AdventureWorks 2008 data source, so we'll be able to identify it later. We now can build a query to return the columns that we need for this particular report. You are familiar with a query designer, and I'm going to maximize this so we have a little more real estate to work with. And we're going to add tables. This is familiar to many of you if, in fact, you were using table access to get to your databases. You will not be permitted to use tables, but are you going to be using stored procedures? And that is another option that we can use here. Generally, when I build a report, I, in fact, use this interface to start with and then create a stored procedure to return the rows later. We're also